What if I am living my purpose? How much different would your life be? What if you are living your dreams? What if you are earning the income that you desire? What if you are living a life full of peace and happiness and joy? And what if you are living in drive? How much different would your life be? And think about this. What if you were living in fear? What if you were living a life full of procrastination? What if you were living a life, what if you were living someone else's dreams and running from your own dreams? What if you were living in park, reverse, and neutral? How much different would your life be? Or how much the same would your life be? What if I am? My motivation to face it, to fix it, came from my 4 beautiful children. So I graduated from park and reverse, and then I can't remember too much of my life being in neutral, but I'll let you know what the neutral phase is. The neutral phase is, you may be familiar with this cliche, it is what it is.
Oh man, I hate that. I was talking to somebody, I'm not gonna say their names, they probably gonna watch this. Man, I was talking about this very thing last night. It was like at 2 in the morning, and they said blah 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 blah. It is what it is, and I said I hate that term. That term is so disgusting to me. That's why I said it too, because it's a self-defeatist term.
Yep, it's a victim.
There's no such thing as it is what it is. You control everything around you, whether you believe it or not.
Exactly.
I just had to speak right there. I had to interject. Right there.
By all means,
sorry.
That is not a phrase or a line that I use at all. Once I came to the realization of that statement, of that cliche, I eradicated and evicted that cliche from my vocabulary, from my verbiage. So people in neutral use "it is what it is," and they use you may hate this phrase too. I'm just going with the flow. And
it's like saying I'm just living, but are you really living your life? You're not living your life. You're just living. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
I hate that one too.
There's a quote that I want to bring up. It's by Ramtha. He said, "To let life happen to you is irresponsible, but to control your day is your divine right." And that's what it is. To let life happen to you. How many of us, and I'm guilty of that. I was guilty of that. To let life just happen, for the is what it is, or whatever. Just throw your hands up. Those are the people that live in neutral. The person that lives in neutral would never ever live, but always be alive. And what's the sense of being alive if you can't fully live? Because dreams are lost at this stage. The childhood dreams that you once had, and of course life does what it does, beat you up, punch you in the gut, punch you in the lip, hit you on the chin. That's what life does.
That's a part of life.
It's a part of life. That's a part of the growing process.
Just as a contrary to it is the victory, the success, the retrospectiveness of seeing the obstacles you overcame. That's a part of life. It's a natural order of things. You gotta have the good with the bad.
You gotta have the good with the bad
to understand how you're living in life.
And that's true. You cannot drive a car just with the positive side of the battery. It takes both the negative and the positive to drive a car. And the same thing with life. It takes both the negative and the positive to move forward. And in neutral, this is the stage where you willfully throw in the towel, you pick it back up, you throw in the towel, pick it back up, in spurts and fits. You on a treadmill going nowhere, just busy being busy, going nowhere. That's the person in neutral. When life is high, you're high. When life is low, you're low. That's the, whatever. If it happens, it happens. And that's why majority of us live our life in neutral. Why? Because it's easy. And what else happens in neutral is there's no accountability in neutral. There's no responsibility in neutral. You can blame the economy in neutral, blame your parents like I did. God knows I blame my parents for my financial condition. I blame my parents probably for everything. So, with that being said, there is it's easy to be average in neutral. You wake up and you just live a mundane life. And of course, you're greater than mundane. You're greater than average. You are greater than living in neutral. With that being said, The next stage is drive. This is the ultimate stage to be in. This is the stage where you jumped into the driver's seat of life. You are going to do whatever it takes, come hell or high water. You're not going to stop until you reach your goal.
I think in drive is when you come upon the realization, if that was the first time being in drive, that there's no such thing as no such thing as can't. And it's a matter of you willing whatever it is you want to happen, you will it to happen.
Exactly. And you know what? Somebody brought it to my attention. They said, Mr. Cooper, you don't like hearing the word no. I'm telling you something, I'm not a fan of no at all. But you know what? When I hear no, I keep going until I hear that yes. And I'm going to do whatever it takes to get that yes. And I don't allow the no to deter me. I don't allow the no to stop me, because no's come. I often say that today's no's doesn't mean tomorrow's no's. Today's no's actually prepares you for tomorrow's yeses. And it gives you a deeper appreciation, and also you are very thankful for tomorrow yeses. Because if you worked hard all day and you got probably 1,000 no's, and then tomorrow you get one yes, wouldn't there be a deeper appreciation for that one yes? And that's what happens in drive. There, you live in a sense of gratitude and grateful, and a sense of gratefulness in the stage of drive. The goal that you have in mind is invisible. Is invisible to the entire world except for you. You go to sleep with it on your mind. You wake up with it on your mind. You think about it all day, just like that woman or that man that you have your eyes for. You can't get him out of your system. That's the same way with a worthy goal. The same thing with the book. I couldn't stop thinking about it. I talked about it. I ate it. I breathed it when I was in the shower, when I'm going out. I'm always talking and thinking about this book. And this started in January. So 6 months ago, it was just a thought. That's the beauty of living in drive. Are there some difficult moments? Absolutely. I have gone through so much hell in my life from January to writing the book. Because this is what life does. Life wants to see how serious you are. Life wants to filter the nonsense out of your life. Or life wants to filter the people who are only talk. So from January to June, it was just drama after drama after drama. And most people in my situation, if they aren't in drive, would have thrown in the towel. And let me tell you something about drive. Drive is a wonderful stage to be in. It is beautiful. I wake up every day without an alarm clock, 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning. That's just what happens when you're in drive. Read the book. You notice that 9 other people that I interviewed say the same thing. They just get up, they're ready to rock and roll. But the thing about drive, Benjamin Baldwell brought up an interesting point. He said, the journey from park to drive is a very exhausting journey. And I can see why, because think about this. The most difficult part of the journey is not the beginning, it's not the middle, it's usually the end. I'll give you an example. 3 years ago, I ran a 2K marathon, my very first marathon I ever ran before. I dislocated my knee about 15 years ago, and I broke my ankle about 4 years ago as well. But I wanted to run this marathon because it was for a good cause. So I put my gear on, got up to the starter line just like everybody else, and popped the gun. We all started running. So, I'm getting in my groove, running, and it's not a straight shot. Uphill, downhill, around corners, around journeys, around bends, around the road. It was very exhausting. But I didn't want to give up in the beginning. In the middle, I thought to myself, what the heck did I get myself into? But the crazy part, the ironic thing about this particular race, the finish line was uphill. I thought to myself, why would you place the finish line uphill after I ran almost 3¼ miles? So I thought to myself, not everybody's going to finish this race. the race is going to weed out. People are going to start walking. People are going to sit off on the side. But only a few people who started are going to finish. And I wanted to be the one part of the group that finished. Even with the aching knee and the swollen ankle, I still ran. I was walking and running. I refused to give up on my journey. And the hardest part of that race was climbing that last hill, because I didn't want to walk up that hill. I wanted to actually run up that hill. And I ran, and when I came through the finish line with my chest poked out, there was a sense of accomplishment. I felt like somebody. But the hardest part of that journey was actually running uphill. And the same thing with life. The hardest part of that goal, you want to go to school, you want to fix your marriage, you want to fix yourself. It just seems like when you get close to the finish line, that's where all hell breaks loose.
You ever heard that saying, the more you climb, the higher the top gets?
Yes! That's what happens, the higher you climb. And the thing is, think about this. I don't know exactly how high Mount Everest is, but I know one thing: you do not see people climbing up Mount Everest with a whole luggage set. You just won't do that. You can't do that. So as you climb higher, you have to begin to let things go. What if I am living my purpose? How much different would your life be? What if you are living your dreams? What if you are earning the income that you desire? What if you are living a life full of peace and happiness and joy? And what if you are living in drive? How much different would your life be? And think about this. What if you were living in fear? What if you were living a life full of procrastination? What if you were living a life, what if you were living someone else's dreams and running from your own dreams? What if you were living in park, reverse, and neutral? How much different would your life be? Or how much the same would your life be? What if I am